These are 5 deadly cornering mistakes you want to avoid at all costs. Number 1, turning in too early. So as you're approaching the corner, people get very anxious. They're worried about what gear to be in, what speed, how much to brake, where to look, bike position, line selection, everything. And as the corner approaching closer and closer and closer, and then the inevitable happens, you look off to the outside of the corner like, oh, there might be a guardrail, oncoming traffic. So you get more and more nervous, which is perfectly common. However, because of all this anxiety about worrying about these different things, people tend to turn in sooner and sooner and sooner. Now, if you turn in early, generally, you apex early, and that puts you on a trajectory to go wide, which is the place that you don't want to end up. So generally, if you turn in too early, you apex too early. Now, apex, all that means is whenever you are the closest to the inside of the corner. It's just a reference point. It doesn't mean you have to hit the apex. Sometimes the apex will be 5 different apexes for 5 different riders going through the same corner, because the only thing it means is whenever you are closest to the inside. That might be right here, it might be right there, it might be later, it might be earlier. It's usually determined by your turn point. So if you turn in earlier, you apex earlier, and that's a trajectory to go wide. So if you delay your turn point, you wait longer to turn in, usually that delays your apex, and that's probably a good thing. So an easy way to summarize all this is just wait on the outside until the road itself begins to turn, then you turn in. Number 2, and closely related, is target fixation. Now, target fixation is a bad thing when you are looking at the wrong spot. So you could fixate on the exit of the corner where you want to be going on your intended path of travel. That's where you want to end up. That's perfectly fine. Fixate over there, right? However, what you don't want to be doing is going through a corner, right? You're going through, then something distracts you, like a tree or the edge of a guardrail, and now you're just staring towards there, and you're locked in, and you're getting closer. You're like, holy crap, that guardrail's getting really close. I hope I don't hit it. And then pretty soon you're on top of it, right? So what you have to do with your eyes is, I already said it. This is the best way I've found to explain it, and this is from Dylan Code, son of Keith Code, who runs California Superbike School. So look on your intended path of travel. As you're going through a corner, where do I want my tires to end up through this corner? Like, imagine in your mind's eye a yellow line on the ground painted exactly where you want your damn tires to go. That is your intended path of travel. And one thing you're not doing is this. So say you're going through a corner and you're the exit, you're way over there. I'm not doing this. Like, I'm about to enter the corner and I'm already looking, way over there at the exit. What, I missed the oil and the gravel and the dead squirrel and the 2x4 and the car pulling out of the driveway. You're gonna miss too much stuff. Unless you're on a track and you know it's clear and it's open, you can see the exit, by all means. Look really far through the corner. But if this is a corner I'm going through, so before I get to where I am, I'm already scanning the ground, right? So you're scanning, so as I'm approaching the turn point, starting on the outside, right? Starting the outside, I'm approaching the turn point. As I like scan through, this is where I wanna go. I'm kind of looking like maybe 60% through the corner. And I scan back a little bit just to make sure I'm on the right path. And I scan back, look, there's the exit, scan back a little bit, and I'm traveling more, right? Whoops. Look forward, scan back. Look forward, scan back, just to keep myself and make sure I'm good. But what you don't want to be doing, so most of the time you're looking on your intended path to travel. The little flicker of your eyes is just like, just a little flicker is all it is. How long is a flicker? A quarter of a second? You're not doing this. This is a problem that people do. It's not this. When you're doing this, what Total Control and Lee Parks calls it, like when I was teaching for him, this is called 50 pensing. So you're looking, and then you look too far in front of you. Then you're looking again, then you're looking too far in front of you. What has happened to my hands? Look at this. You see I'm wobbling? So what it looks like of a rider when you're watching behind do this, they're going like this through a corner. They're literally weaving in the turn. They don't know they're doing it. And somebody who's behind them might say to them, hey, you're doing something wrong with your steering. You need to work on your counter steering. But the actual cause is their vision is messed up. So Lee Parks calls it 50 pensing because it looks like a 50 pence piece, right? There's a bunch of jagged edges. So your line is like going in and out. And that's usually from your eyes going back and forth. So I'm not saying do that. As you're looking through the corner, you're the exit, just a little flicker, just to make sure you're on the right path. Going through the corner, a little bit of flicker, a little bit of flicker. Plus probably every 5-6 seconds anyway, I'm looking down at my dash to make sure there's nothing flashing at me and going crazy. Every 5-6 seconds, I'm looking at my mirrors, make sure nothing's crazy going on behind me. So your eyes are always moving around, but cornering specifically is what we're talking about. Majority of the time, 90% of the time, you're looking on your intended path of travel with slight variations. Good? Number 3, and this is a big one, accelerating too soon. People want to get on the gas so early, and that's okay to want to do that, but you have to do it at the right time. So timing is something that not many people talk about, either because they don't know, or that's pretty much it, because they don't know. So whatever technique you can imagine, anything, the flip side of the coin is the timing of it. If you do the right thing at the wrong time, it's wrong. So the timing is very important. So if you want to get back on the throttle soon, good. But if you do it at the wrong time, not good, right? So this is very easy, and this is straight from Champ School. It makes perfect sense, and it's in practical use, like on your actual bike, it also makes perfect sense. So when do you want to really hard accelerate out of a corner? I'm not just talking about rolling on the throttle super slow, like so what, right? Still the same thing applies, but to a lesser degree. It's not as strict as if you want to get on the throttle hard coming out of the corner. Like if your goal coming out of a corner is get to full throttle as early as you can, this is what I'm talking about. How to drive out of the corner, enjoy the power of your bike, like really accelerate out of the corner. That's what I'm talking about, so keep that in mind. So when to do that? A lot of people say, well, when I could see the exit, that's when I know I could accelerate. That's not true, and this is why. Again, you're the exit. I'm halfway through the corner on my GS. It's an open corner. I could see the exit. There you are, here's the exit. I still have to get towards you, but my bike is right here halfway through and I'm pointed that way. I wanna go that way. If I start to accelerate right now, where am I gonna go? I'm not gonna go towards you. I'm gonna go where this bike is pointed. So people do that, this is the problem. People do that, right? And this is what happens. They start to accelerate because they see the exit, but all the weight goes to the rear, weight goes off the front tire, less grip on the front tire. Now they're going straight because it's pointed straight and they're accelerating. You're telling the bike to go that way because you're accelerating and that's where it's gonna go. So the front end is getting lighter and lighter, but they're going wider and wider. And they're like, oh my God, I'm not gonna make the corner. What do they do then? Crazy thing to ever do. They start to add lean angle while they're accelerating at the same time. I hope you're wearing full gear because that front tire is about to wash out. So you cannot do that. So you can't just be able to see the exit. That's one part of it. There's two sides of a coin, so you have to wait. One side of the coin is, yes, be able to see the exit. So I'm in the middle of the corner, I'm the GS, right? Good, I could see the exit. I know there's no car. I know there's no dead deer or something like that. So just like Chris Paris told me when I went to Champ School one of the times, why would you accelerate into something you can't see? Good point. That really hit home for me, right? So like blind corners, I ain't gonna start to accelerate until I actually see around the damn blind corner that there's nothing there. That's part one. Part two is this, you gotta have patience mid-corner. I'll say that again because people aren't listening. You have to have patience mid-corner. Wait. I'm still leaned over, but now I'm pointed towards the exit. Now I'm in a position, I can see the exit and I'm facing where I want it to go. I can start to take away the lean angle. So here I am, here's the throttle, here's the lean angle. If I want to accelerate hard out of the corner, I have to be able to do this. Watch. See that? I'll do it again, slow motion. Right? You have to be able to take away the lean angle. You cannot take away the lean angle until your bike is pointed where you want it to go. So let's make this very simple to summarize this point, right? People accelerate too early, big problem. So how do you avoid that? Just like you wouldn't shoot a gun and then point it at the target, doesn't make any sense. You also do not want to accelerate your damn bike until it's pointed in the right direction. Once it's pointed in the right direction, that means you already could see the exit. That's a given because you're already pointed. Now, as hard as you accelerate, you have to equally, unless you want a high side, you want to equally be able to take away the lean angle as fast as you accelerate. You see that? If you accelerate slowly, not that important. You still have to be able to take away lean angle, sure, but if you're rolling on the throttle, 51, 52, 53, 54, holy crap, you're accelerating slow, whatever. But if you want to get on the gas and have some fun, right? Take away lean angle as fast as you accelerate. See that? It's connected. If you're at this much lean angle and you want to get to full throttle, you could do that in a half second, as long as you take away the lean angle in the same half second. So remember that. Number 4, you never want to be accelerating and adding lean angle at the same time. When you get on the gas, the weight goes to the back, right? The front end, the front tire is less grip because there's less weight on the front tire. When you're adding lean angle, you want grip on the front tire. So if you're taking away front grip and then you're adding, it's too much. Front tire can't handle it, good way to low side, right? And a low side crash, here's the front tire at my pinky. A low side crash is when the front tire gives way. High side crash is when your rear tire loses grip and then it regains traction, goes right back, so it's like out of alignment, then it goes, it regains traction and you do that and you're going whee over the high side. So low side crash, very, very common. When you start to add acceleration and lean angle at the same time, front tire is just gonna wash out, low side crash. So do not do that. So I already said it. So make sure, zero throttle, lean the bike, and then maybe you crack it open to maintain speed, like maintenance throttle, neutral throttle. Oh, now I'm pointed, I take away lean angle, then get back on the gas really hard. Or you also don't want to do this. Say you're steady throttle 80 miles per hour and you're coming up to a corner. You don't want to stay 80 miles per hour and just start to lean the bike. So at a minimum, roll off the throttle to be zero throttle, then add lean angle, then get back on. I'm talking about for an actual corner. Sure, there's some circumstances, maybe a small percentage of the time where it's like barely a turn in the first place. You just stay 80 miles per hour and just kind of barely do a huge, damn near straight turn. No big deal, whatever. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about actual cornering. You see what I'm saying? So there's no need to talk about the extremes like that's policy, like that's the main thing I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the fringes of like way over here and way over here. I'm talking about the bulk of riding actual corners. You don't want to be on the gas while adding lean angle, so don't do that. And the last one, number 5, fifth deadliest mistake a whole lot of people make all the time. Now, this one's going to take a bit more to explain, but I'm going to make it as easy as possible. Just like we used to say in the Marines, I'm going to make it Barney style, super simple, like KISS. Keep it simple, stupid, KISS. All right, here we go. I'll explain not trail braking, and then you'll really understand what trail braking is and the benefits by just explaining what it isn't. Okay, this is not trail braking. I'm coming up to a corner, I'm going up. All right, here I come. Oh, I need to start braking. Zero throttle, on the brakes, on the brakes, on the brakes. The weight goes forward. Awesome. More traction on the front tire. Awesome. Less rake and trail, easier to turn. Awesome. Oh, I'm about to corner. Let go of the brakes, unload the suspension, unload that front tire grip, and just lean it. So that's not trail braking, and that's bad, right? Trail braking is you're doing literally everything the same. Come up to a corner. Hell yeah. Here comes a corner, zero throttle, up on the brakes. You do it at the same time, but I'm just doing it for effect. So you go like this, brake, 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 brake. But instead of just giving up and saying, who cares? Let everything rebound, then lean. Wait, trail braking is just literally trailing off the brake pressure as you add lean angle. So say you're braking 80%, and as you start to lean, 75%, 70, 65, 60. Now, just like I said earlier with the throttle and the lean angle, everything applies for the front tire, but it's opposite. Now it's brake pressure and lean angle. If you lean fast, trail off fast. If you're leaning slowly, trail slowly. See what I'm saying? Braking 100%, 0% lean, trail off. I'm braking 2%, I'm leaning 2%, whatever. You don't even have to trail brake then, just hold the pressure. What difference does it make? But if you're braking 80%, you start to lean and start to trail off. You're leaning slowly, trail off slowly. You're braking, braking, braking. If you're leaning fast, you better trail off that brake fast. You see what I'm saying? So just like Champ Skull says, 100 points of grip. You only have 100 points. If you exceed that, you're gonna wash out the tires. And most of the time, it's front tire, underloaded front tire washes out more than an overloaded front tire. Meaning, not trail braking, you're on the brakes, let go of the brakes, then decide to lean. Bad idea. Now here's the asterisk. However, if you're riding at a slow pace, you might not even have to brake at all. Sometimes I ride around in the twisties, I don't even have to brake at all. All I do is roll off the throttle, maybe downshift one time. Don't touch the brakes and go into the corner. I'm not braking, I'm not even trail braking. That's fine as long as the pace is down here. So here's parking lot low speed stuff, here's street pace. At this low, easy pace, I don't trail brake at all. If I start to pick up the pace a little bit, I might want to start trail braking because I don't want the loading and unloading effect. That's where it becomes dangerous and bad. That technique, on the brakes, off the brakes, look and go. On the brakes, off the brakes, look and go. Good. Beginner riders taught in the beginner class, there's nothing wrong with that if you keep doing that at a very low pace. You try to pick up the pace and go faster doing the on the brakes, off the brakes, look and go. It becomes dangerous because of everything I just explained. So just keep that in context. Here's the pace scale. Here's low speed turns, street riding, fast spirited riding, really fast spirited riding on the track riding. So here's the scale, right? The things I do way up here, I don't do way down here in the parking lot, doesn't make any sense. The things I do in the parking lot, I don't do it on the street, doesn't make any sense. The things I do at very low speed on the street in the twisties don't make any sense when I go faster street riding. For example, which is point number 5, not trail braking. If you're going quickly on the street and you have to brake enough to really make the suspension drop down, and if you're letting go of the brake before you tip in, That's a very bad habit to have. So highly recommend taking as many formal courses in person as you can, like go on my website and check them all out, and then practice what you were taught. So hopefully none of you will do these 5 deadly mistakes, but I guarantee you, rewatch this video a couple times and really write down or take notes, listen to what I'm saying, each one of these points. I guarantee you, 100% guarantee, you understand these 5 things I was talking about. The next time you go for your little group ride, the next time you go out in the twisties with your buddies, I guarantee you'll be able to point out 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or all 5 of these things by watching people. Like, oh, wow, no kidding, look at that. Oh, interesting. Oh, look at that. And that's how you start to get anxiety, like following behind people, like, oh, geez, he's adding throttle and leaning, go, ugh. You'll know if they started to accelerate too soon, because this is what it's like. You're behind the rider, you're going through, they're mid-corner, they can see the exit, but their bike's not pointed yet. They start to accelerate, but then what do? The effect of what you can tell people are doing it wrong, they start to accelerate, you hear the bike accelerate, then you hear the bike roll off or chop the throttle mid-corner to get direction again, to get it pointed, then to get back on the throttle. I keep on dropping my phone. I should probably just leave it down there. So that's a way you could tell. They chop the throttle mid-turn. That's almost guaranteed is because they're starting to roll on the throttle and accelerate too early before it was pointed. So those are the 5 deadly mistakes. The more you study and understand, the more you practice. So take one of these things at a time and go practice it, and just don't do it, right? Don't turn in too early. Don't do this, don't do that, don't do that. And then really understand it, practice it, play around with it, play around with the trail brake and everything else, go back and forth on your favorite road that you've already memorized and blah, 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 add a little bit of pace, blah, 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 do all that stuff. Then when you actually go riding around, you'll be able to see these things slow glaring. It's like people are walking around with a big neon fluorescent sign, like, I'm turning in too early. It's gonna be so obvious to you, like, wow, right? So anyway, hopefully that made sense. Hope you liked the video. Check out the description for my app, my books, my courses, my affiliate links, my everything else you can imagine, merchandise and everything else. So check all that stuff out in the description. If you have any questions, comment below and I'll get back to you. Thanks for watching.